What if the greatest transformation of your life begins with something that no one else can see? What if the invisible world within you has always been shaping the visible world around you? Every dream you pursue, every opportunity you encounter, every challenge you overcome, and every success you celebrate begins long before it appears in physical reality. It begins in the quiet place where thoughts are formed, where beliefs take root, and where expectations silently determine the direction of your future. The law of attraction is built upon this powerful understanding. It reminds you that life is not only responding to your actions, it is constantly responding to the energy behind those actions. Every single day, your mind is sending a message through the thoughts you repeatedly entertain and the emotions you consistently experience. Whether those thoughts are filled with confidence or doubt, hope or fear, abundance or scarcity, they become the foundation upon which your future is built. Nothing remains neutral. Every belief strengthens a certain direction. Every expectation creates momentum. Every emotion reinforces a pattern that gradually becomes your reality. This process continues whether you recognize it or not, because the mind never stops creating and life never stops responding. Most people believe that their circumstances determine how they should think. They wait for success before becoming confident. They wait for financial freedom before feeling abundant. They wait for happiness before allowing themselves to smile. They expect the outside world to change first, believing that only then will they have permission to transform on the inside. Yet this way of living keeps them trapped in an endless cycle of waiting. If the inner world depends entirely on external conditions, then peace becomes temporary. Confidence becomes fragile, and happiness becomes something that always seems just out of reach. The law of attraction reverses that entire way of thinking. It teaches that the inner world comes first. When thoughts become intentional, emotions become elevated, and expectations become stronger than fear, the external world gradually begins to reflect that new state of being. This is not about pretending that difficulties do not exist. It is about refusing to let temporary circumstances define permanent beliefs. It is choosing faith over fear, possibility over limitation, and purpose over uncertainty, even when the evidence has not yet appeared. Think about how often people unknowingly focus on exactly what they do not want. They replay disappointments until those memories become stronger than their dreams. They imagine failure before taking action. They prepare for rejection before giving themselves a chance to succeed. They expect obstacles before looking for opportunities. Without realizing it, they continuously feed their minds with images of limitation, and then wonder why life keeps reflecting those same limitations back to them. The mind naturally searches for evidence to support its strongest beliefs, and once those beliefs become deeply rooted, they begin influencing every decision, every conversation, and every opportunity that follows. Now imagine a completely different approach. Imagine beginning each day with the quiet certainty that something extraordinary is already unfolding behind the scenes. Imagine expecting solutions instead of problems, growth instead of failure, abundance instead of lack. That expectation changes more than your mood. It changes your awareness. Suddenly, possibilities become easier to recognize. New ideas begin to appear. Confidence replaces hesitation. Gratitude replaces frustration. Small opportunities that once seemed invisible now stand out because your attention has shifted. Nothing around you may have changed overnight, but everything within you has begun moving in a new direction, and that inner movement eventually transforms the outer experience. The most remarkable changes often begin long before anyone else can see them. A seed buried beneath the soil appears inactive, yet it is already preparing for growth. In the same way, your thoughts and beliefs are constantly preparing the future you will eventually experience. Just because change is invisible today does not mean it is not already happening. Every positive thought strengthens a new foundation. Every moment of gratitude nourishes a new mindset. Every decision to believe in possibility instead of limitation creates momentum that cannot always be measured immediately, but can certainly be felt over time. The law of attraction is not inviting you to become someone else. It is inviting you to remember the creative power that has always existed within you. It encourages you to become more intentional with your focus, more disciplined with your thoughts, and more protective of your inner peace. Instead of reacting to every circumstance, you begin responding from a place of confidence. Instead of allowing fear to dictate your future, you allow purpose to guide your present. Instead of chasing validation from the outside world, you cultivate certainty within yourself. First, everything begins with a single decision, the decision to believe that your inner world matters. The moment you stop allowing doubt to control your attention and begin directing your mind toward possibility, the process of transformation begins. It may not happen instantly, but it happens consistently. Every day that you choose empowering thoughts over limiting ones, you become a stronger version of yourself. Every day that you refuse to surrender your vision to temporary setbacks, you move one step closer to the life you truly desire. The greatest shift is not found in changing the world around you. The greatest shift happens when you realize that changing yourself changes everything. And the moment that realization becomes your daily practice, the law of attraction is no longer just an idea. It becomes the force that begins transforming your entire life. Your mind is constantly creating a picture of the world, and that picture becomes the lens through which you experience everything. Before any achievement becomes visible, before any opportunity is recognized, before any goal is accomplished, there is first a belief that makes it possible. Every lasting transformation begins with a change in perception. The law of attraction teaches that your thoughts are not passive events drifting through your consciousness. They are powerful signals that influence your emotions, shape your decisions, and determine the direction of your life. Whatever occupies your mind consistently begins to influence the reality you experience. Most people underestimate the power of repeated thinking. They assume that a single positive thought will erase years of doubt, or that one moment of motivation will permanently change their lives. But the mind does not change through occasional inspiration. It changes through repetition. Every thought you repeat strengthens a mental pathway. Every emotion attached to that thought gives it greater influence. Over time, those repeated patterns become beliefs, and beliefs become the invisible blueprint guiding every choice you make. If you repeatedly tell yourself that success is difficult, your mind begins searching for evidence to confirm that belief. Challenges appear larger than they truly are. Opportunities seem risky. Every obstacle feels like proof that your doubts were correct. On the other hand, when you consistently believe that growth is possible and that every challenge carries a lesson, your perspective changes. The same obstacle that once stopped you now becomes a stepping stone. The same setback that once discouraged you now becomes valuable experience. Reality begins to look different because your thinking has changed. This is why attention is one of your greatest sources of power. Whatever you focus on expands in your awareness. If your attention remains fixed on fear, uncertainty becomes stronger. If your attention remains fixed on gratitude, abundance becomes easier to recognize. Life presents countless experiences every day, but your mind chooses which ones receive the most importance. That choice quietly shapes your emotional state and influences every action that follows. Consider how often people unknowingly rehearse failure. They imagine everything that could go wrong before taking the first step. They expect disappointment before giving themselves the chance to succeed. They relive old mistakes until those memories become stronger than their future vision. Every time those thoughts are repeated, the subconscious mind accepts them more deeply. Eventually, hesitation replaces confidence, and caution replaces courage. Without realizing it, they become loyal to limitations that no longer serve them. The law of attraction invites you to interrupt that cycle. Instead of feeding your mind with doubt, begin nourishing it with possibility. Instead of replaying past disappointments, rehearse the future you want to create. Imagine yourself becoming calmer, wiser, stronger, and more confident. Picture yourself overcoming obstacles with resilience and meeting opportunities with certainty. These mental images are not empty fantasies. They are exercises that gradually reshape your expectations, and your expectations influence your behavior every single day. Gratitude plays a remarkable role in this transformation. Gratitude is far more than saying thank you for what you already have. It is a decision to recognize abundance even before every desire has been fulfilled. A grateful mind naturally shifts away from lack and begins noticing possibilities that were previously ignored. When appreciation becomes a daily habit, your emotional state changes. Complaints lose their power. Negativity begins to fade. Optimism becomes easier because your attention is no longer trapped by what is missing. Another important truth is that your subconscious mind responds to consistency. It absorbs what you repeatedly think, feel, and imagine. If you continuously tell yourself that you are capable, resilient, and worthy of success, those beliefs gradually become part of your identity. Your posture changes. Your conversations become more confident. Your decisions become more intentional. Others may notice the transformation long before you fully recognize it yourself. What appears to be confidence from the outside is often the result of thousands of disciplined thoughts repeated in private. This does not mean life will suddenly become free from challenges. Difficulties will still appear. Unexpected obstacles will still arise. The difference is that your relationship with those challenges changes. Instead of seeing problems as signs to quit, you begin seeing them as opportunities to grow stronger. Instead of allowing temporary setbacks to define your future, you use them to refine your character. A focused mind refuses to surrender its vision because it understands that circumstances are temporary, but the direction of thought determines the destination. The law of attraction is not asking you to deny reality. It is asking you to choose which reality deserves your attention. Every moment presents a decision. You can strengthen fear, or you can strengthen faith. You can magnify limitations, or you can expand possibilities. You can continue repeating the beliefs that kept you where you are, or you can begin building the beliefs that will carry you where you want to be. Remember that your mind is always listening to the conversations you have with yourself. The words you repeat become expectations. Expectations become habits. Habits become identity. And identity quietly shapes destiny. Speak when you consciously choose empowering thoughts. Day after day, you begin sending a completely different message to your subconscious mind and to the world around you. Everything starts with what you consistently think. Change the message within, and over time the results without will begin to change as well. The mind truly is the magnet of your reality, and what it attracts tomorrow depends on what you choose to believe today. The greatest misunderstanding about the law of attraction is believing that it is only about attracting things. Many people spend years trying to attract wealth, success, love, or opportunity without first becoming the kind of person who is prepared to receive those blessings. They focus entirely on changing their circumstances while neglecting the one thing that influences every circumstance, their own identity. Real transformation begins when the focus shifts from chasing results to becoming the person who naturally creates those results. Everything in life follows identity. Actions come from beliefs, habits come from repeated actions, and results come from habits practiced consistently over time. If the identity remains unchanged, lasting change becomes difficult because the old way of thinking eventually pulls everything back to familiar patterns. This is why temporary motivation often fades. Excitement can inspire action for a moment, but identity determines whether that action becomes a permanent lifestyle. The law of attraction works most powerfully when your thoughts, emotions, beliefs, and actions are moving in the same direction. When there is harmony between what you desire and who you believe yourself to be, your entire life begins to gain momentum. Instead of constantly fighting against yourself, you begin cooperating with your highest potential. Every decision becomes easier because it reflects the person you have chosen to become rather than the person you used to be. Many people secretly believe they are not worthy of the life they dream about. They desire abundance while believing they deserve lack. They long for confidence while constantly criticizing themselves. They hope for meaningful relationships while carrying the belief that they are not enough. These hidden beliefs quietly influence every choice they make. Even when opportunities appear, they hesitate. Even when progress begins, they doubt themselves. It is not because success is unavailable. It is because their identity has not yet caught up with their vision. Everything begins to change when you replace those limiting beliefs with empowering ones. Instead of asking whether you deserve success, begin acting as someone who values growth. Instead of waiting to feel confident before taking action, allow courageous action to build confidence naturally. Confidence is rarely the starting point. It is usually the reward for consistently doing what fear once tried to prevent. Every day offers countless opportunities to reinforce a stronger identity. The smallest choices often create the greatest transformation. Choosing discipline instead of procrastination. Choosing gratitude instead of complaint. Choosing hope instead of discouragement. Choosing consistency instead of excuses. None of these decisions may seem extraordinary on their own, yet together they slowly reshape the person you become. The process is much like building a foundation for a great structure. One stone may seem insignificant, but thousands of carefully placed stones create something that can withstand storms. Your daily thoughts are those stones. Your habits are those stones. Your attitude is those stones. Every positive decision strengthens the foundation upon which your future is being built. Eventually, what once required tremendous effort becomes completely natural because your identity has changed. Patience becomes essential during this process. Modern thinking often expects immediate results, but genuine personal transformation unfolds gradually. There may be days when visible progress seems impossible to find. Circumstances may appear unchanged, and old doubts may attempt to return. Those moments do not mean the process has stopped. They simply test whether your commitment depends on immediate evidence or lasting belief. Every meaningful achievement follows a season of invisible growth. Before a tree reaches toward the sky, its roots grow silently beneath the ground. Before confidence becomes visible, countless quiet decisions strengthen it from within. Before success becomes obvious to others, character is developed in moments that no one else sees. The same principle applies to every lasting transformation. The inner work always comes before the outer reward. The law of attraction reminds you that energy follows identity. When you genuinely become more disciplined, opportunities requiring discipline begin to fit your life. When you become more grateful, reasons for gratitude seem to multiply. When you become more peaceful, conflicts lose much of their power over your emotions. The world begins responding differently because your way of moving through the world has changed. This transformation also affects the people around you. A calm and confident person naturally influences every conversation they enter. Optimism becomes contagious. Determination inspires others without needing to demand attention. Integrity earns trust. Persistence creates respect. None of these qualities can be purchased or borrowed. They are cultivated through consistent inner growth, and once they become part of your identity, they attract relationships and opportunities that align with them. Stop measuring your progress only by external achievements. Instead, ask yourself deeper questions. Are your thoughts becoming more empowering? Is your mind becoming calmer under pressure? Are you reacting less emotionally and responding more wisely? Are you becoming more patient with the process? Are you beginning to believe in possibilities that once felt impossible? These changes may not appear dramatic from one day to the next, but over time, they create a completely different life. The person who attracts extraordinary opportunities is rarely the person who simply wishes for them. It is the person who is prepared inwardly long before those opportunities arrive. Success recognizes preparation. Abundance follows responsibility. Growth follows commitment. The law of attraction is not simply bringing new experiences into your life. It is helping you become someone capable of sustaining those experiences. Everything changes when you stop asking, "When will my life improve?" and begin asking, "Who must I become?" The answer to that question unlocks a transformation far greater than any temporary success. As your identity rises, your expectations rise. As your expectations rise, your actions improve. As your actions improve, your reality begins to reflect the powerful person you have chosen to become. The journey has never been about becoming someone different. It has always been about uncovering the strongest version of yourself that has been waiting to emerge all along. Everything you have learned leads to one undeniable truth. Your future is not created by chance. It is created by the thoughts you protect, the beliefs you strengthen, the emotions you cultivate, and the actions you repeat every single day. The law of attraction is not a promise that life will become perfect overnight. It is an invitation to become intentional with the energy you bring into each moment. Every day presents a choice, and every choice either moves you closer to the life you desire or keeps you connected to the life you are trying to leave behind. There comes a moment when learning is no longer enough. Reading inspiring ideas is valuable, but information alone cannot transform a life. Transformation begins when knowledge becomes action. The greatest opportunities often remain hidden from those who wait for the perfect time, the perfect circumstances, or the perfect feeling. That perfect moment rarely arrives. The moment that changes everything is the one where you decide that your commitment is stronger than your excuses and your vision is greater than your fears. Stop waiting for confidence before taking the first step. Confidence grows through action. Stop waiting for certainty before believing in your dreams. Belief grows through consistency. Stop waiting for the world to validate your potential. Your potential has never depended on someone else's approval. It has always depended on your willingness to trust yourself, even when the results are not yet visible. Every thought you choose today becomes part of tomorrow's reality. Every positive decision plants another seed for the future. Every moment you refuse to surrender to doubt strengthens your ability to remain focused on what truly matters. Small decisions may not appear significant at first, but they accumulate over time. One disciplined morning leads to another. One grateful thought replaces another complaint. One courageous action inspires another. Eventually, what once felt impossible becomes your new normal, because consistency quietly accomplishes what motivation alone never could. Do not underestimate the power of protecting your mind. The world constantly competes for your attention. Fear demands attention. Negativity demands attention. Distractions demand attention. Yet your greatest responsibility is deciding which thoughts deserve a place in your mind. Guard your imagination carefully, because whatever you repeatedly imagine eventually influences what you believe. Guard your expectations, because they shape how you respond to opportunities. Guard your inner peace, because a peaceful mind makes wiser decisions than an anxious one. There will be moments when progress seems slow. There will be days when circumstances appear unchanged despite your efforts. Those moments are not signs that the law of attraction has stopped working. They are opportunities to strengthen your faith in the process. Just because something cannot yet be seen does not mean it is not already developing beneath the surface. Growth often happens quietly before it becomes visible. Just as the sunrise begins long before the first light reaches the horizon, transformation often begins within, long before the outer world reflects it. Refuse to let temporary setbacks become permanent conclusions. Every successful journey includes challenges. Every meaningful goal requires persistence. Every lasting transformation demands patience. Obstacles are not evidence that you should stop. They are opportunities to strengthen qualities that success requires. Resilience grows through difficulty. Wisdom grows through experience. Confidence grows through perseverance. What feels like resistance today may become the very reason you appreciate tomorrow's victories. Choose to become someone who remains grateful, regardless of temporary conditions. Gratitude is not reserved for moments when everything is perfect. Gratitude is a mindset that recognizes progress even before the destination has been reached. It reminds you that every lesson has value, every challenge contains growth, and every new day offers another opportunity to begin again. A grateful heart naturally attracts greater peace because it no longer depends entirely on external circumstances for fulfillment. Remember that your words carry power. Speak about your future with hope rather than fear. Speak about your goals with confidence rather than hesitation. Speak about yourself with respect rather than criticism. The conversations you have with yourself become the foundation of your beliefs, and your beliefs quietly shape the direction of your entire life. Replace limiting thoughts with empowering ones until confidence becomes your natural response instead of your occasional emotion. The law of attraction is not asking for perfection, it is asking for consistency. It is asking you to keep choosing faith when fear appears, to keep choosing possibility when doubt whispers otherwise, and to keep choosing gratitude when impatience tries to take control. Every time you return your focus to what you truly desire, you strengthen the person you are becoming. Every time you refuse to allow negativity to dominate your thinking, you move another step toward the future you have imagined. The journey begins with one decision, but it continues through daily commitment. Decide today that your mind will no longer be a place where fear lives comfortably. Decide that your imagination will become a source of hope rather than worry. Decide that your expectations will be greater than your doubts. Decide that your actions will reflect the future you want, instead of the past you are trying to escape. Everything can begin changing from this moment forward. Not because the world suddenly changes, but because you choose to change the way you think, the way you believe, and the way you live the life you desire is built one thought, one decision, and one action at a time. Stay patient, stay disciplined, stay grateful. Stay committed to becoming the highest version of yourself. The law of attraction will not change your life because of one extraordinary moment. It will change your life because you choose, day after day, to become the person who is ready to receive extraordinary things. And when that commitment becomes your way of living, you will discover that the greatest transformation was never just about changing your circumstances. It was about changing yourself, and in doing so, changing everything.